all editable.
Oh yeah.
It's all editable. So, here we are. So let's take it back to the OG Woolman Workx. It was 2013-ish.
Well, pretty much exclusively did what I did in my upbringing, which was working on equipment, grading, working at rock plants, fixing all the stuff, running all the stuff at a young age, being in that environment. That was what the original Woolman Workx constantly was just
Grading
heavy
and
equipment.
heavy equipment. Mostly partnered with what your dad had.
And tuna boats. We worked on what was left of the tuna fleet in Southern California. And that was a big part of our bread and butter, was working on those.
Forgot about the boats.
Yeah, the boats was a very big thing. And some yachts, but that we don't talk about yachts. So
so then we did that for a while.
Long time.
Well, and you were doing your other trade back and forth when things were slow with grading.
Yeah.
And then it came to the point between the relationship with you and your dad that became super frustrating.
Yeah.
And so you took a break from the industry and focused in on your other trade.
Took a break from it, doing it full time, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I would still go back and forth, but I just wasn't. I needed a break from it.
Yeah.
At that point in my life.
We almost let it go at that point.
Yeah, almost did.
Yeah. Which was sad.
Yeah.
Because we had the dream, right? Like, we had the dream of building something for ourselves and our family for the long term.
Well,
we needed to give it another try.
I had to go back into it, and I had to do it full bore and no looking back. So it mainly was just.
When your dad was aging.
My dad was getting older. I had a son. I mean, we have a daughter and a son, but once my son was born, that kind of changed things a little bit. And that aspect is like, well, I have a legacy, and I'm third generation doing what I do, and that actually is a big deal. So it was just very important to keep that going.
Yeah, and then 2020 happened.
I went back to
mostly grading and heavy equipment again.
And grading, and that business is a booming. When you know the right people, it doesn't stop. So that was a no-brainer to me, and when it was like, all right, well.
Here we are
again, and it just always finds a way to bring me back in every time. And so this time is when it was like, you know what?
Well, and then we were very clear after a little while, after COVID kind of, it hit its peak, and then it kind of started subsiding. We really felt like God was like, no, it's time to make it yours. It's time to put your spin on the diesel experience that you have.
Yeah, and where I saw where it was lacking, where we lived, especially at that time, it was just, we saw where
there was holes in
a lot of holes
the businesses that were doing performance diesel and
which weren't very many.
Yeah, it's a dying industry in California. Mm-hmm. So after going back to the industry in 2020 and in 2021, we launched our own Woolman Performance Works and Woolman Diesel Works to dial into doing performance diesel. And that's what we stood in for a long, long time. And then in 2021, after we launched and we were operating in that on my parents' property, my parents then decided to sell the property, which put us in a little bit of a pickle, and we're like, oh no, here we go again. Like, here's another wrench thrown into it. And we thought we were moving across the country and trying to make it work on the East Coast. And, we were kind of hopeful because obviously the diesel industry is not dead on the East Coast like it was in California.
Pretty much anywhere.
Yeah,
It's
except
booming
California.
And doing the same things other than California and maybe 1 or 2 other states, but for the most part, it's just California.
Yeah. And so we were hopeful at the thought of, okay, well, we can do this bigger and better on the East Coast. So CJ went, after figuring out my parents' property was going to sell, he went back east to check it out.
The main reason is because that's where I did my business, was on their property. So it just, there was ample room, and trying to have what I had on the property anywhere in San Diego
you would be paying up the wazoo, and it wasn't worth it.
No.
So we wanted to sustain ourselves and leave California to give ourselves a better future. But when you came back is when heck really hit the handbasket, and your dad passed away unexpectedly.
Yep.
Literally, like within 3 days.
2 days after getting back from my trip, and then he passed away, and that changed everything. Literally everything. That changed in every single way, everything. Yeah.
But also, it has a bit of God's grace on it, too, because we get to be where we are now, but we'll get to that. So we had to move. Not only did we have to move from my parents' property and try and maintain a business, now we were dealing with his dad's estate and
everything involved with that, which is a lot, was a lot, still is a lot, and yeah.
But we still made it.
Yep.
We were booming, we were working, we were cranking stuff out. It was awesome. It was so fun too, even though it was very stressful because of everything else that was going on. But between CJ and I, like, this is our passion, is Woolman Workx and the automotive industry.
Yeah, performance, anything. It's not even just diesel. Diesel is what I've always been around, so that's what I'm very familiar with it, but I'm also very familiar with performance
in general.
And
that's why
racing and all that stuff, and that's
same.
My passion is in that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. So that you can't really do that very well in California anymore.
No, and that's part of the reason why we're here now. And we have the American Performance Workx,
which is Oregon, by the way.
Oregon. Oh, we're in Oregon now, because it came to a point dealing with his dad's estate where we couldn't keep any of it. And as hard as we tried and as much as we wanted to, we just couldn't financially. There's another part of it, and it wasn't
worth trying to keep
to sustain.
It just wasn't how
for
California operates,
and for our longevity and our legacy, what God's really doing for us in our lives. He brought us to a place where we've wanted to be for years and years and years now. So here we are now, hoping to serve our little Oregon community here in Sweet Home.
And
the surrounding areas. We got Springfield, Marcola, Eugene, maybe even Lebanon, and more east of us, which I don't know how far we can go there, but
we'll see.
We're here in Oregon, and we have Woolman Workx and American Performance Workx, and the legacy lives on.
Yeah, that's really what
the legacy lives on, and we're doing it, and we're taking it back to our roots with just Woolman Workx. And American Performance Workx is on the side because we feel like, we want to do hot rods, but we don't have the space to do that yet. So that's just kind of like brewing in the background for now.
Hot rods and anything that goes fast. It's not just hot rod. Anything performance related.
Performance.
I'm your guy. You talk to me. Okay?
Yeah. But also AMSOIL. We that's something big. When I was growing up, it was the Lucas oil, and we had that in my mom and dad's shop when we had our little shop.
Before there was anything like actually good out, that was the best thing that you could get.
Yeah. So now we're kicking it up a notch with the AMSOIL, which we're always available, and we're really excited to bring you content.
Been using AMSOIL for almost a decade now, exclusively, and
he switched all of my vehicles.
Her vehicles, her family's vehicles. I try and get everybody I can to switch to it because it is just
it just performs
a better product
so
in
much
every which
better
way possible, and especially when you start learning about it and what it does and what other oils don't do.
Yeah.
It's
And there's a whole
no-brainer.
line from like ATVs,
Small pressure washer engines to tractors to semi trucks to everyday cars to high performance to, I mean, two-stroke stuff. I mean, you name
Yeah.
it. They have every kind of oil, and it's for a good reason too. It's
yeah.
you
And
really
we'll
realize
dive
that.
into that more here as we go along. But some last thoughts. We launched our website, brand new, geared towards our sweet home people, our Oregon people.
Yep.
We're here. We're available. If you need us to service your stuff, we're here. But also, this is new, is being more of a hand.
Yeah.
If you have small farm, private property, etc., this is where we can come in and really lend some expertise. Sorry, that is our son. So that's new. That's the biggest thing, I think, in Oregon for us, because you have had experience working on a private farm in San Diego for
Multiple ones.
Right.
Multiple. Some very, very big, some medium sized, some little.
Yeah. And you found that you loved it.
I had a lot of enjoyment doing that. It's very
And that's kind of
awesome.
what pulled us up to Oregon too, is because we could have that for ourselves eventually.
Yeah.
So the more we learn and the more we work and the more we do things, it just lights us more on fire to do that. So check out the website, woolmanworks.com. Get on our email list. Let's learn about AMSOIL together. If you have any questions,
Reach out.
we'd love to help you. We're here. We're doing it. There's no giving up. The Woolman legacy lives on.
Yep. Where's